Hi, Hal here. Today we're going to talk about different kinds of guitars that you could get if you're a beginner and you want to choose a guitar. Here's an electric guitar. Okay. So this guitar is it's actually a Telecaster copy. It's made by Yamaha. It's a great little guitar. I got it years ago at a shop that I used to work at. They said to me, you need to buy a guitar. You can't borrow our guitars anymore. So I got this guitar. It was fairly inexpensive, but I've had some work done on it. It now has a bone nut and the neck is really straight and it plays really well. I really like it a lot. Let's see, so here's an electric guitar. It's got a volume knob, a tone knob, pickups, that kind of thing, and you need an amplifier for it. But it plays really well. You can learn how to do your bar chords on it. It plays really easily. You can do everything you want to do on this kind of a guitar. They're easy to play. So there's an electric guitar. Let's see, let's unplug that. And I'm going to switch this guitar with the guitar I usually teach with on video, and that is this guitar right here. This is what we call a folk guitar or a steel string guitar. And this particular guitar is a little bit smaller than a regular size guitar. It's a grand concert size. It's not a dreadnought. Dreadnought is the regular size guitar. I like them a little smaller because they fit my body better. Okay, so it has steel strings, and you want to get the guitar set up so that it plays really well. In fact, that's what you want more than anything else. I don't care if you get an expensive guitar or if you get an inexpensive guitar, but you want a guitar that plays in tune and that plays really well. I've seen some really interesting ads lately on the internet, and it says, does your guitar hurt your fingers so bad that you can't play? Well, you know what? It's not necessarily just the guitar. Even if you have a very inexpensive guitar or a cheap guitar, you can get the nut adjusted, you can get the bridge adjusted or the saddle adjusted, you can get the neck adjusted so that it's straight, and you want those strings as close as you can get to the neck. That's called the action. When the action is set up well, then the guitar is easy to play. That's it. The first guitar I ever had was a Stella, and the nut, or the strings coming off the nut, were so high that it was very difficult to play, but I was so passionate about wanting to learn how to play the guitar that it didn't matter. And later on, when I got a more traditional guitar, a real guitar, I guess you could say, I really realized that guitar was horrible. Well, anyway, this is, actually this one is made by Blueridge. It's a BR-73. I picked it up. One of my students was looking at this guitar and they said, I don't really want that guitar. And I looked at it and I said, I think I'll play it and check it out. So here's a steel string guitar. This guitar over here, this is a 3/4 size guitar. It's actually called a Baby Taylor. It's made by the Taylor Company. And I use this as a travel guitar. And it's a nice little guitar. It's a great guitar for traveling around. It's kind of small. You can put it in your trunk and in your car, in your compact. Plays really well. It's really good for teenagers and small children because of the small neck and also the small body. But it's also good for adults because it's not a problem. I mean, I can play it just fine. So this is another option, some kind of a smaller guitar. The last guitar that I have to show you is called a classical guitar. And it's a little bit different than the others. It actually is a smaller width than regular guitars. The body size is smaller. The neck is wider and it's also flat, meaning that the fretboard is completely flat. On all of these other guitars that I just showed you, it actually has a little curve in the fretboard. That's called a radius. And when you have a radius in the fretboard, then it feels a little different. This particular guitar is really good for finger picking, like if you're doing something like this. like that, okay? Let's see, let me plug this in. Let's see what it sounds like when it's plugged in. Okay, this guitar actually has nylon strings, and that's what these are called. They look like plastic, and these strings here are not steel, they're also nylon. If you take your thumb and you roll the string like this, it actually rolls under your finger. All of the other guitars that I showed you today, they do not roll, they have a steel core. This particular one has a nylon core and it rolls around, it's a little different. Also, the sound of the guitar is different. It's a different kind of a mellow sounding guitar. Now, we talked earlier in a video about how to hold the guitar, and I've held the guitar like this, where the waist is on my right leg. You can also put it on your left leg and hold it like this. This is called a classical guitar position. It's really good for finger picking. You can also do this with any of these other guitars, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, here is the electric guitar. I can use this guitar in exactly the same classical guitar position that I did with the classical guitar. See that? Easy. Let's try another one. Okay, here's the baby Taylor. I can put it in this position here. See? And even the 3/4 size guitar, I can play it this way. Let's try one more. Now with the Blueridge, we can do the same thing. So there you have it, the different kinds of guitars that you can get and that you can play. Okay, well I hope you have fun picking one out, and message me or make comments or something like that and I'll try to get back to you. That's all I have for you today. Come back and see us again and we'll have more information and videos and tips for you about the guitar.